Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Fox Sports.
Tonight, the Rays open their final home series of 2014 as baseball's best rookie, Jose Abreu, leads the Chicago White Sox into town, while Tampa Bay counters with the 2011 American League Rookie of the Year. Jeremy Hellickson goes to the hill, looking to finish his shortened season strong. It's the White Sox and the Rays on Sun Sports next. Outside Tropicana Field, umbrellas a necessary part of a walk into the ballpark to protect against the rain. Inside, air-conditioned comfort. For game one of this three-game series, the Rays meet the Chicago White Sox. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an evening of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Good to have you aboard. Well, the Rays haven't seen the White Sox since the end of April, and this final home series of the year for the Rays here at the Trop, featuring the bats of Evan Longoria and Jose Abreu.
A couple of sluggers that are swinging the bat very well. You think about Evan Longoria, you think about his production after the All-Star break, and take a look at it. 97 games before the break, 11 home runs, 44 driven in. In just 56 games since the break, equaled the home run total already, and has driven in 46 runs. You better believe that Evan right now has those sights set on getting to 25 and 100. In the way that he's been swinging the bat so decisively recently, he may just do that. On the other side, you've got Jose Abreu. Now, this guy came into the league with a ton of hype. And guess what? He has lived up to it and then some. The only player in the American League that is in the top 5 of all of these categories. Tremendous year, and he has absolutely owned the Rays this year. 7 out of 17, 3 home runs, 11 driven in. He is the big power source in the middle of that lineup that has given everybody fits this year.
Well, he made a statement in that 4-game series when the Rays played the White Sox in Chicago and has kept on slugging, leading the majors. As you point out, a slugger deluxe, tops in that department. For the Rays, James Loney has been steady Eddie. He continues to hit consistently to all fields. And when we come back, Todd Callis takes a closer look.
getting ready for the Chicago White Sox. Not only is Loney a .320 career hitter against Chicago, but he's hit .400 over his last 10 games and still has an outside shot to hit .300 on the season. Basically, he'd have to hit about .500 the rest of the way, the final 9 games for the Rays. But Loney in our Toyota Trent has a chance to do something that's never been done before, and that's in your first 2 seasons with Tampa Bay, have 330 hits or more. As you can see, Loney currently tied with Rocco Baldelli for the most ever in the first 2 years with Tampa Bay. The crime dog and Akinori Iwamura also on that list for the top 4 in franchise history. Here's the Rays manager, Joe Madden, on the consistency that is James Loney.
He's that guy because he'll go line to line. He'll utilize the opposite field extremely well. There's those moments he goes through when he hits the ball really hard, a lot of line drive contact. So he's all of that. It doesn't surprise me. That's part of his DNA. That's who he was when the Dodgers drafted him. You know, sometimes people get concerned about power source or power numbers, but I like the way he hits. That's who he is. You know what to expect. And he's had 2 really good years.
That's our Geico quote. Loney in the lineup, batting 7th against the lefty for Chicago, Jose Quintana. We are ready for baseball. Jeremy Hellickson on the mound for the Rays. Well, the first pitch and starting lineups in 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Enjoy it right here on Sun Sport.
Jeremy Hellickson has not won a game as a starter here at Tropicana Field since July the 5th of 2013. It came against the Chicago White Sox. And so tonight, he's after his 2nd win of the year. He'll try to notch a victory here at Tropicana Field. This will be the lineup he will face, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Adam Eaton leads off in center field. Alexi Ramirez hits 2nd, and then Jose Abreu, the DH. 7 of 17 with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs in the 4-game series in Chicago in April against the Rays. Connor Gillespie's the cleanup man at 3rd. Avisail Garcia in right. Paul Konerko gets the start at first base. Michael Taylor in left. Josh Figley will do the catching, and Marcus Semien is at second base, batting ninth.
Here you take a look at Jeremy's season numbers, making his 12th start. Just that one win that came back on August the 6th. That was out in Oakland against the A's. He went 7 innings, gave up just 1 earned run. His last time out in Toronto against the Blue Jays, 6 strong innings, 3 runs, only 2 earned, 8 strikeouts, but picking up a no decision.
Rays start tonight 74 and 79. The White Sox 69 and 83. We're all set for baseball. And the first pitch presented by Pitch a Penny is a strike call to Adam Eaton. So we're underway tonight at Tropicana Field. And a chopper headed to second, charged by Forsythe. He takes care of that. 1 away.
Let's take a quick look at the Rays defense as it lines up tonight, brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield left to right, we have Ben Zobrist, Kevin Kiermaier, and Will Myers. Across the infield third to first, Evan Longoria, Yanel Escobar, Logan Forsythe, and James Loney. Jose Molina will be behind the plate.
So 2 pitches in, 1 away, and here's Alexi Ramirez. A strike to Ramirez. Starts the night at 275 with 15 home runs. Good offensive numbers for Ramirez, but the White Sox are thrilled with the job he's done at shortstop. They're making the case that he should win the Gold Glove this year.
Well, overall, like you said, good season in the field, good season at the plate. Second on this team in runs batted in.
One ball, 2 strikes.
And always aggressive. He's got a big swing. He has a tendency from time to time when things aren't going well for Alexi Ramirez, that swing will get long. And that's where you can really tie him up with fastballs in and off speed below the zone.
Line drive into center, and that's in there for a base hit on the 1-2 pitch. Ramirez makes the turn and holds at first.
Well, nice job by Ramirez on that 1-2 curveball. He's going to stay back on it and just stay quick to the baseball, use the middle of the field. Really nice approach and a very good result there for Ramirez.
Robin Ventura, 3rd year as the skipper of the White Sox. And here's Jose Abreu, the DH. Boy, this guy across the board among the league leaders. What a rookie season he has had for Chicago. You know, when Oakland first made their deal and went to Cuba to pick up a bat, they thought they had the best bat out of Cuba. There were scouts who said, nope, there's another one even better. And Abreu has turned out to be that bat.
How about the transition right into the big leagues with those numbers? I mean, seamless. Obviously an advanced hitter, but you look at those numbers, he's the only player in the American League that's in the top 5 in average home runs and runs batted in, and of course with rookie ranks he's going to run away with everything.
Yeah, Yoenis Cespedes, I think the Oakland A's probably finding how much he meant to their lineup, because their offense has been anemic without him, and he is an outstanding hitter in his own right. But boy, what Abreu has done with the White Sox, and now Abreu hit by that pitch, so he's headed to first.
Trying to throw the fastball in to keep Abreu from getting extended, and certainly not going to get any kind of extension on that, as that ball's right off the tricep, back of that left elbow. An instant scoring opportunity here for the White Sox. Yeah, speaking of which, how about their record since the Cespedes trade? since July the 31st.
Yeah.
They're 17 and 28, and in danger of missing out on the playoffs altogether. I think they're clinging to a spot right now by 1 game.
And those moves they made were made with an eye toward the postseason and pitching to carry into the postseason. There's a strike to Gillespie. Curveball, strike 1. Here is the wild card breakout. You see Kansas City and Oakland a game up on Seattle. Cleveland's still hoping to make a run 4 back, but Oakland and Seattle battling it out right now.
And it just, if you're Oakland, you're obviously just struggling immensely. And with Seattle's pitching, they could get hot for a week and a half, and that's it. Now, they got a tough schedule. Tougher schedule than Oakland does, but still, that kind of pitching can beat anybody.
And we've talked about how offense has been down all year. Both those clubs are struggling offensively, Seattle and Oakland.
Yep. So Seattle could say, well, you know, we'll just try to win 2-1. I mean, it's been tough, and you can't even imagine what the mindset of Oakland is, coming to the field knowing they still have a playoff spot, but how bad they've been playing. It cannot be a whole lot of fun in that locker room right now.
Yep.
Even though if it ended today they would qualify, you can't feel good about yourself. Hemorrhaging.
Garcia's on deck, 2 men on with 1 out. 2-1 the count to Gillespie. And there's ball 3 outside.
Well, this is what you do not need. Gillespie, another guy having a pretty good offensive year, hitting .290. On base percentage up over .340. And he's got a really nice count here to work with 2 runners aboard.
And he pops it up. Hellickson will make the call. Infield pop anyway. So they got him on a 3-1 change to pop it up. Hellickson did the formality of making the catch.
It's the one thing that Jeremy has shown the ability to do, is use the changeup when behind in the count very effectively. A hitter's not up there looking 3-1 change. They're looking 3-1 heater. They get something that looks like one, but you can see as the swing right there, he's out in front, has lost all his power. And a little pop-up right to Jeremy. Which it was awfully nice of the infielders to stay away from him and just let him put that thing away, knowing that they had the infield fly rule in full effect.
Garcia bounced the breaking ball fast with that curveball up, and
not very tight on the spin. I mean, it was rolling in there. It was very, you know, that's what you're going to have to watch, because you saw how the adjustment that was made by Garcia, and he took a real good pass at it.
Down 1-1, a little meeting here with Molina headed to the mound. They're trying to get on the same page
already.
You could just see the facial expressions in the dugout, and then that little conversation between Molina and Hellickson.
About the facial expressions up here.
Oh my. It's early. Top of the first, folks. Welcome. 1-1. Chopped to short. Escobar to second for the force to retire the side. No runs, a hit, 2 left. Bottom of the first coming. Rays coming in to hit. The first inning, Jeremy Hellickson and Jim Hickey having a very serious meeting right there.
Yeah, and what he's talking about, those pitches fading away, get on top, drive it downhill, and you get that good finish. You can just go by his hand motions. You don't even need to listen to what he's saying. You can tell the message that's being given to Jeremy Hellickson right now very demonstratively.
And we'll take a look at the lineup for the Rays, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Zobrist leads it off again, then Geyer and Longoria, Myers, Forsythe, Escobar, Loney, Molina, and Kiermaier, all against the left-hander Jose Quintana, who has been very good, only 8-10, but boy, he has some outstanding numbers.
I'm going to tell you something. One of the most underrated young starters in the game. He is very good.
First pitch to Ben Zobrist is a strike. He's only 25 years old, out of Columbia. Last year, he was victimized by lack of offense last year. Had a ton of no decisions, and has had a bunch of them this year. And not a lot of support. Ramirez throws out Zobrist. One away.
Well, let's take a quick look at the Chicago White Sox defense as it lines up behind Jose tonight. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield, left to right, we have Michael Taylor, Adam Eaton, and Abisail Garcia. Across the infield, third to first, we have Connor Gillespie, Alexi Ramirez, Marcus Semien, and Paul Konerko. Josh Fegley will handle the catching duties.
It was Brandon Geyer, the DH, against the left-hander. Pitch is a strike. Fouls the fastball back.
Well, he's got a real good idea of how to use the fastball. Doesn't have the overriding velocity, good velocity, very firm with that pitch, but he knows how to use it. He pitches in. We just see a lot of young starters nowadays that don't pitch in or pitch in very effectively. He does.
Well, that second pitch, a good example of that, about 92. And you could see Geyer try to get to that, and it was in on him a bit as he fouled it back.
Yeah. Also smart with a young pitcher to establish both sides of the plate early in a game. Let that opposing lineup see from the dugout, hey, he's going to use both sides, so be ready for anything.
And Geyer checked in time. Take another look. Marvin Hudson down at first as he held up. Close.
Very, very.
Chopped to third. Gillespie whips it across to first. So a couple of ground ball outs to start this one for the Rays. And we'll get Evan Longoria to the plate.
You would think, too, this Rays lineup is going to be aggressive with Quintana, because he is a guy that is in the top 10, top 15, right around there with first pitch strikes, and a lot of fastball first pitch strikes. Over 65%. So he likes to attack the zone early with the hard stuff, so you better be ready to hit.
Evan takes that one for a ball. Evans starts the night at .252, 22 home runs and 90 runs batted in. Another pitch that didn't miss by much. 2-0. Two pitches, but pretty close to that zone.
Yeah, I'll give him the second one. The first pitch, if you're a pitcher out there, you're like, what's wrong with that? If I'm not getting that pitch and I got to pitch higher than that, put yourself in jeopardy, as well as maybe some teammates in the field.
It's a strike. 2-1 for the Rays. Not a lot of at-bats against this left-hander, but he does have a couple prior starts against the Rays, and one decision. That was a losing decision. Line drive, base hit into left. Longoria singles on a fastball, and the Rays have their first hit.
Well, this fastball meant to be away, and you see where it ends up. Middle in. Evan Longoria is sitting 2-1, pulls the trigger. That's the one thing that we've seen from him is with this increased production since the All-Star break is a much stronger, more aggressive swing.
Yeah, it was really encouraging to see him as late as that series in August against the Blue Jays when he turned a Marcus Stroman fastball in there around and hit it out. Hit it a ton to left. Will Myers pitches a ball to him, 1-0. Tana last year was 9-7 with a 351. He's 8-10 this year with a 330 earned run average. On hop, and it gets away from Semien, scooting into shallow center. Longoria is going to go to third and into second. Myers, second base uncovered. So the Rays get men at second and third out of that.
Now that ball was absolutely smoked. Marcus Semien not able to keep it close. You know, right here he's in position perfectly. He would have just knocked this down and make a play. But then when you have both middle infielders going after that baseball, Paul Konerko not trailing to second base, and that allows Will Myers to sneak in there.
Yeah, that ball was hit so hard it almost knocked Semien down.
The ball was smoked.
An error charge to the White Sox second baseman. So second and third with 2 outs, run scoring opportunity for Logan Forsythe. Chance to put the Rays out in front. Pitch is too high. The White Sox have had some defensive issues. They can run 2 or 3 pretty steady defenders out there at a time, but it can get a little spotty for them defensively.
Well, they came in tied for third in errors, and now you got to believe that that's right there second. That was their 102nd error.
Something Robin Ventura as a player was not used to. Two and one on Forsythe.
You know, that makes it so much tougher for Chicago because they don't have a lockdown pitching staff anyway. They've got a few guys who can lock you down, but overall the staff needs some help, and the errors really hurts this staff, and obviously it ends up hurting the team.
That evens the count at 2-2. They're 13th in team ERA. So that's a struggle right there.
Yeah, and you just don't need extra outs where you get a staff like the Rays. Listen, nobody wants errors. Errors aren't good. They always are going to hurt the team. But when you get a big strikeout staff, a dominating type staff, they can pitch through some of those mistakes where Chicago just can't.
Full count. Fastball up and away. Well, the White Sox are 13th in the league in ERA. The Rays are 13th in the league in runs scored. So something's got to give. Check swing, foul ball. White Sox left 2 men aboard in the top half of the first, and now with 2 outs, the Rays have 2 men in scoring position. Line shot, base hit, left center field. Longoria scores, Myers scores, Forsythe digs for 2, a double, and the Rays lead 2-0. Rays take advantage of the extra out and put up 2.
Well, that just goes to show you how it just kills this team the 2-out air and a full count fastball where Logan can get extended, and he drills this ball. And you get the feeling, the way that Logan went into second base, the way that Myers was aggressive, that the Rays are really going to push the envelope on the base paths against this Chicago defense. Always nice to score first.
Chanel Escobar. His 6th career at bats against Quintana, 2 out of 6 against the lefty. And he comes out swinging at the fastball, fouling it away. Quintana coming off a win his last time out at home against the Minnesota Twins. He pitched 7 innings of 1-run, 3-hit baseball, walked 2 and struck out 13 in his last outing. Line drive, it's going to be caught by Ramirez at shortstop. And the Rays are out in the first, but they pick up 2 unearned runs and lead 2-0. Baseball on Sun Sports, brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Checkers. Checkers has 3 favorites in one box. The $2 shrimp chicken bites and fries box. Only at Checkers. Bert Smith Volkswagen. Tampa Bay's home of driving excitement. Visit BertSmithVW.com. And by Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. When cancer strikes, strike back with CyberKnife. Available exclusively at Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. Paul Konerko, winding down a great career, leads it off, and he takes the pitch for a strike. Konerko limited to 74 games. This is 75th of the year. Quick strikes from Hellickson. Fastball on the edge.
Get an early lead like Jeremy's been given, you go right out there and start pounding the zone with quality strikes. A little boost in confidence.
Marco chops it foul. Rays dropped 3 of 4 to this team up in Chicago at the end of April. Ball, 2 strikes. Konerko takes it a little close. Konerko second to Frank Thomas in home runs with the Chicago White Sox ball club. 432 home runs. And second to Luke Appling in games played in a White Sox uniform. Out on strikes. It's the first strikeout for Hellickson.
Well, this is the changeup that Jeremy will feature, and it's a good pitch when he keeps it down in the zone and really finishes it. You go back and remember Jim Hickey, where he was telling him, working top to bottom, drive that ball to the plate, don't feather it in there. And that's when he gets a little bit of late life, and hitters are way out in front.
Hickey was pretty animated about that in the dugout after the top of the first inning. He got through that, leaving a couple men on base. I don't know the count to Michael Taylor. And the curveball misses. 2-0. Taylor acquired by the White Sox from the Oakland organization. 2-1. Split most of the year between their AAA affiliate Charlotte and Sacramento and the Oakland chain. 2-2. His sixth start for the White Sox since he was recalled from the minor leagues. First couple of days in September. Line drive caught at third by Longoria. 2 up and 2 down.
Now Evan Longoria moving to his left, able to flag that ball down. Seen a couple of balls hit hard here in the infield for outs, Escobar. And now Taylor.
So the Apopka High School graduate Michael Taylor retired. 2 gone. Josh Flegley, the catcher. Foul ball. Lined into the seats and out again.
Look out.
Heads up.
Getting chewed out too.
Now he's got to think quickly. Got to come up with an answer to all of that.
Getting that left ear chewed on.
Hard line drive into left, going to fall and drop all the way back to the wall on a couple of bounces. Zobrist a quick recovery, but Flegley's in there with a double.
Boy, interesting choice of pitches there by Jeremy Hellickson. You just threw a pitch in off the plate that Flegley got the barrel to, and you're going to come right back with it. Now that one doesn't get quite as far in, and boy, if he got to the first one, he's getting to this one, and he can keep this fair. Guy is that quick on a pitch in off the plate. Kind of lets you think that maybe something off speed or something away is in order.
Marcus Semien. Semien hitting .224. He's played multiple positions for the White Sox this year. 4 home runs, 20 runs batted in. Just picked there by Molina. Curveball, and the count is 1-0. We saw Simeon at third base in that April series in Chicago. He spent time at shortstop, tonight at second. A ball goes to 3-0.
Jeremy Hellickson making this Chicago White Sox lineup aware of the pitch in, whether it's the changeup or the fastball.
Picks up the zone. 3-1 with a fastball. Giving up a 2-out double after the Rays put 2 runs on the board in the first. And now we're full with that foul ball out of play. Simeon up with the White Sox early, then he was sent AAA Charlotte. Coming back on the 2nd of September. Foul straight back, out of play. Another 3-2 pitch from Hellickson. Foul. Forcing yet another one. And by the third base coach Joe McEwing down there.
With Joe McEwing, when he was playing, he used to give Randy Johnson fits.
He was a colorful guy, could play different positions. Yep. He'd get on base, would create havoc. Yep. Up and in, and that's ball 4. He could be animated.
Makes for a perfect third base coach.
Doesn't he?
Yep. Get those arms winging around.
Give all those signs, and then you're waving runners around right in the middle of the action again.
Have you ever tried just screwing around to practice giving signs?
Never had the occasion.
No, you watch these guys do it. It looks so easy. Try to come up with some signs in your mind and then do them in the mirror. You look like someone who shouldn't be moving his arms around.
That's really a great mental picture of that.
Oh, I've tried to do it. It would be awful. Team would be confused. Guys would be running when they shouldn't. And there's a certain rhythm to it, too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a rhythm you get going and you're messing around. I was very robotic. I stunk.
Yeah. Well, third base coach gives signs the way an auctioneer sells goods.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly right. And there's an art to it. Right now he's saying swing the bat, drive in a run. Make it real simple for you.
I'll tell you, Eaton has done that very well with men in scoring position. This guy leads off. He is hitting .376 with men in scoring position, and the Rays get him here on the ground ball to short. No runs, a hit, 2 left. Bottom of the second coming, 2-0 Tampa Bay.
Lead off for Tampa Bay. We are joined right now by the Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations, Andrew Friedman. Kind of a look back at the 2014 season. Andrew, first of all, with the offense at the plate right now, this is an offense the last 3 years that had scored around 700 runs. Prior to that, 800 for a couple years. This is pretty much the same group you had last year. Are you surprised where this team is going into the final 9 games?
Well, I mean, we obviously thought we were going to score more runs coming into the year, but there's a lot that plays into that. There's sequencing and some randomness, but more than anything, we just didn't score enough runs. We had a lot of opportunities. We have a team that can really look over the ball and get guys on base, and it's about then executing. And even if it's not at the same rate as other teams, because we have so many opportunities, it should yield a lot of runs. Just this year it hadn't worked out for us.
You look at the left on base numbers, and obviously you're getting everybody out there, just not putting them in.
Exactly. I mean, it's all about executing and converting those runners into runs, and that will obviously be a big focus for us and point of emphasis.
James Loney leads off against Jose Quintana here in the bottom half of the second inning. When you look at the way your lineup is situated, you always talk about your flexibility. You look at your outfield tonight, Ben Zobrist, Kevin Kiermaier, Will Myers. You've got a couple of guys on the bench, and Matt Joyce and David DeJesus, and a guy injured right now, Desmond Jennings. Is that a lot of outfielders to look at for the 2015 season when you're looking at the possibility of being flexible as an offense?
Yeah, probably. I mean, we got to get into trying to optimize the 13 position players and then also making sure we have the requisite depth in Durham. And so we started doing some of that. I guess it's the only benefit of being out of it is we get a head start on the winter and the planning. But I don't know yet. You know, we've got a lot of really good players in our opinion. And the biggest thing about this year is to examine it, really look at it thoroughly, and figure out what was randomness and what's real. And it doesn't do us any good looking back, but it helps us a lot looking ahead and informing the decisions we make this winter.
One of the big decisions you made at the end of July was the trade of David Price, and obviously you don't want to assess a trade this early, but from what you've had to look at so far with Drew Smyly, we're getting a chance to see Nick Franklin up here and Willie Adames down at the minor league level. Early returns, you've got to be thrilled and more convicted now, maybe even more so than when you made the trade, that you got what you could then, and it probably exceeded what you may have gotten in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was the bet we made. We felt strongly that we would get more in July than we would in the offseason. And, you know, we traded a really, really good player, and we got some good players in return. You know, we're really happy with Drew, and not just what he's done on the field, but how well he's fit in. It's just been a seamless transition to our other starters and just the routine and everything else. He's fit in extremely well. Nick Franklin, you know, it took a little while to get adjusted, but we're really happy to have him and feel like he's got a chance to impact the ball from a middle infield spot, which is hard to find. And then Willie Adames fit in incredibly well. Just the ability we had a pretty good feel for. But the makeup, the work ethic, the desire, those things you don't really know until you get someone you're working with them every day, and those reports have been off the charts.
When you talk about Smyly and look at your potential rotation for next year, the 5 guys currently in it, we're seeing Alex Colomé, we're seeing Nathan Carnes, we're going to get a healthy Matt Moore back. You've always talked about having extra arms in the rotation. This has to make you feel pretty good about at least that part of where you guys stand for 2015.
Yeah, I mean, as much as you can in, you know, the preceding September, we feel really good about our run prevention for next year. We feel like it has a chance to be really, really good and the strength of the team. And, you know, obviously this year it was really good. And, you know, we feel like if we can, you know, kind of work out the kinks on the offensive side, and it's really stuff, in our opinion, that's on the margins, that we have a chance to be really, really good again next year.
I remember you told us in spring training, and you've told us in past springs, the one area of your team that keeps you up at night is finding the bullpen arms. And in the past, it always seemed like no matter who you found, whether it was a Rodney or a Soriano or a Benoit or Farnsworth, Choate even, guys that you found on the point of their career where you were able to afford them, it always seemed to work out. This year, for the first time, it didn't. Is that kind of the validation of your concerns every spring trying to put together a successful bullpen?
It's just hard. You know, there's so much volatility in the bullpen, and very few guys are really, really good year after year after year after year. And Grant obviously was that for a number of years. The one thing I will definitely not bet against Grant next year. I think he's going to be really good. And, again, it gets to the volatility. The stuff's still there, the characteristics on his pitches, and it's something that when that volatility kind of scares us in the offseason and into spring training, it also gives us some optimism going into next year with some guys that maybe didn't have as good a years as we could have expected.
I know overall it was a disappointing year, but there are some things that we can look forward to in 2015. I also think it kind of emphasizes how successful things have been here when you go into a season where you don't win 90 and you're like, oh man, what happened?
That's exactly right. I mean, we talked about in 2006, getting to a point of being able to, achieve great success and being able to sustain it. And we set out to to change the culture, and I think we made a lot of progress on that. A lot of people were really disappointed. Our players, our staff, everyone, and that's a good thing. That's motivating for us in the offseason to do everything we can to get back, and we really believe strongly that we're going to have a really good team going into 2015.
Andrew, as always, thank you for the time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right. Well, very interesting discussion there between Todd and Andrew Friedman going forward. There's a base hit up the middle for Kiermaier. A 2-out single and a big turn on the quick arrival down there at first base by Kiermaier. And he's aboard. The one thing that you continue to hear, the bedrock of this club, pitching, and the Rays obviously think going forward that they're in good shape with the starters. Andrew's obviously optimistic about a couple of guys returning to form in the bullpen, Balfour being one of them, admitting that you don't always know what's going to go on in a bullpen, and it can be a big question mark. But the big question has been offense, and if you can project the position players into next year. Is this just a down year for a lot of these guys? Because that's been the case across the board, not only with this team, BA, but with other clubs in Major League Baseball. Down offensively.
Yeah, the offensive numbers are shockingly down. I mean, it really is. We talk even with other announcers when they come into town at the lack of hitting. How it just is not there consistently to be able to put up any kind of runs, which is, by the way, why you hear, listen, if scoring's going to be down like it is across the board, then you had better start to value run prevention, hold it down even further, and give you a chance to win without scoring that many runs.
Zobrist with a ground ball to short forces Kiermaier. We are through 2, and the Rays lead 2-0. Rays on top. Now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SunSportsFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Jeremy Hellickson Stranded 4 runners through 2 and faces Alexei Ramirez here to open the third. And Jose Abreu and Connor Gillespie, the third hitter due for the White Sox. Pitch in there for a strike.
Well, with Jim Joyce behind the plate tonight, you don't have to wonder.
Yeah, you know, you can hear him all over the ballpark.
We haven't had him in a while.
And it's 1-1. Do you like those kind of umpires behind the plate when you pitch?
Loved that.
Yep.
There was no doubt they were quick on their call. You know, you'd think of an umpire like Tim McClellan, who's highly regarded around the league, but you never knew. Everything was quiet at the plate. Then you'd see the arm come up. You know, you'd make a big pitch in a 2-2, 3-2 count, and you're like, it's like a thriller, like a movie. You're on the edge of your seat, like, what is it? What is it? You know, you'd almost have to rely on the reaction of the hitter before you found out.
And it wasn't any easier being a broadcaster up here with it working either. Back toward the corner and on the run. That's a nice play by Zobrist. Boy, Ben Zobrist plays well wherever he is. Running right toward the corner in that low wall, makes a nice catch on the ball off the bat of Alexei Ramirez.
You know, Ramirez, it's funny, he kind of lifted that ball out there. It wasn't really driven. It hung up a little bit, and that allowed Ben to get a beat on it and make a very, very nice running catch going into the wall. And you better believe that your pitcher going to appreciate that. And you're right. My goodness, you play him anywhere, and he looks like, well, yeah, he's your right fielder. Well, no, he could play shortstop for you full time. Well, he could be your left. I mean, across the board. He even got some opportunities in center.
Yep. He started a handful of games out there. Remember, now, I guess 2 years ago when he finished the season playing shortstop every day?
Absolutely.
I thought he did a great job.
He did. He did. And I think that the thought was, you know what, if you don't find anybody that winter that is a pure shortstop, you could go into the season the next year with him as your shortstop and be fine with him.
Yeah. The only thing you would lose would be the versatility of Zobrist. So you'd love to have another guy who could maybe do that. But I think he could play shortstop on an everyday basis. You know, he's not going to be spectacular, but he's going to do everything that you're supposed to do there, and you know you can count on him.
When I think about Ben Zobrist at shortstop, I think of very similar to like J.J. Hardy.
Yeah.
J.J. Hardy, he doesn't flash. He doesn't have an arm that's going to blow you away. He just makes every single play he's supposed to.
Yeah.
Period.
And boy, there's value in that.
Yeah.
Three and one to count on Abreu. It can't be comfortable to be behind in the count to this guy. I mean, maybe if you got that changeup can help, but
help.
Yeah. And a shot foul. Home run distance, but foul.
Did you mean because of that? Kind of proves your point. The old 3-1 heater, and he just destroys it.
Well, he impressed everybody associated with the Rays at the end of April with what he did in Chicago, and he just has not stopped. 3-2, and he hits a high fly ball to right, carrying back to Will, and Myers puts it away. 2 gone. Base is empty, so a couple of outs here to start this inning. Same scenario as in the second. And now Connor Gillespie bats with 2 outs and the base is empty. Upstairs, 1-0. Back into the screen. 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. That runs the count to 3-1. Fly ball, center field. Kiermaier is there waiting for it, and it's a 1-2-3 third. Rays half of the inning coming. 2-0 Tampa Bay. On to the bottom of the third, the Joe Madden Mr. Potato Head returns to the Trop. This time he's prepared for winter. Come out tomorrow. The Rays take on the White Sox, and the first 20,000 fans receive the newest Joe Madden Mr. Potato Head, presented by All Children's Hospital, complete with his new outfit. Visit RaysBaseball.com for tickets. Rays and the White Sox go at it tomorrow evening and Sunday afternoon. Brandon Guyer to open the home half of inning 3. It's a strike. Guyer out third to first. Gillespie to Konerko in the first. And he puts down the bunt. Flegley, the catcher out from back of the plate, will throw him out.
See Brandon Guyer do that an awful lot, both as a guy that's looking to sacrifice and also bunting for a hit. This one a little bit too close to the plate, and Flegley is able to make a play on it, but that has become a part of Brandon Guyer's game, and I'll tell you something, it just makes him more well-rounded, a bigger weapon for Joe Madden. You see how it just dies? Flegley's able to get to it quickly and make a nice throw to get it.
Yeah, he has not only the sacrifices, but 7 bunt hits this year that way. That's an important part of his game. Longoria sends a fly ball to right, going after the first pitch. That's Garcia on the track making the catch. As it turns out, a couple quick outs here for Quintana. 3 pitches, 2 outs. Will Myers. Will hit the ball extremely hard his first time that Marcus Semien could not handle at second base. Went for an error and set up the 2-run first. make the catch. Back a third. That was sailed past Tom Foley and into the stands.
Well, that was a nice play.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Oh.
Yeah. Look at that.
The no look. It did go into that first glove.
1-2 now. You got a glove, you stick it out there. You never know what's going to fall into it.
Well, the first guy did and whiffed on it. The next guy snared it.
Myers chases that one in the dirt. So he's out on strikes on the breaking ball. 1-2-3 go the Rays. We head into the fourth. 2-0 Tampa Bay.
A very heartwarming pregame today during one of his hospital visits to All Children's Hospital last year. He met and connected with a cutie pie. Her name is Madison. She is a 7-year-old suffering from malabsorption. And today he absolutely spoiled her rotten with a shopping spree. Here at Tropicana Field in the team store, she loaded up on all the good stuff with her favorite player. In fact, she loves Alex so much when Ben Zobrist paid her a visit at All Children's this year. He gave her his batting gloves, and she said, yeah, thanks so, but Alex is still my favorite player. Guys.
All right. Thank you, Kelly. Well, loyalty. You pick out a player, and you're rooting for him all the way down the line.
You know, and you can love the others, too. Just one has that special place.
Fourth inning underway with a pitch to Avisail Garcia. Fastball missed, 1-0.
And I got to take a guess here and go out on a limb and say after the shopping spree, he will never be replaced.
Oh, no.
Never. Solidified that spot.
Yeah. Two 2-0 the count on Garcia. Konerko next, and then Michael Taylor. Popped up. It's a high foul near the dugout and just out of play. 2-1. As the White Sox look toward their future, Garcia is one of the hitters they have high hopes for. Got him in a deal, as you know, involving the Detroit Tigers. When the Rays first saw him, there's a fly ball in the left. And Zobrist makes the catch. One gone. So here's Paul Konerko. We'll take a look at his rankings all time on the White Sox roster. Our PNC Bank Star Achiever. Second in games, third in hits, second in home runs, second in runs batted in. 18 years in the major leagues. Came up through the Dodgers system. But most of his production and the time he spent in the big leagues with the Chicago White Sox ball club. Ball, no strikes. Foul off the right side. He had a brief stop in Cincinnati before landing with the White Sox in '99, and the rest has been history. So briefly with the Dodgers, even briefer with the Reds, and then a fixture with the White Sox all these years. One and two.
He's just been so productive over the years and quietly. You know, he doesn't talk a whole lot, bring attention to himself. Just a solid baseball player, tremendous hitter. And boy, they love him in Chicago.
Well, he got a chance to pretty much play full time with the White Sox for the first time, and he did not disappoint. Lots of run production. Forsythe throws him out here. 2 gone. So Konerko is 0 for 2 tonight. 439 home runs for Konerko. There's Michael Taylor. Taylor was originally in the Phillies organization. It's a strike curveball to start him. One and one. Phillies drafted him in 2007. Attended Stanford. It's 1 and 2. He was part of the Roy Halladay deal. Blue Jays got him, a really young talent. 2-2.
This is the point of the season when you're out of it. You have to start looking forward to the next season. And guys get extended opportunities. What do you have? How do they react to big league pitching? It's almost like a running start in the mind of the decision makers for the White Sox going into the offseason and then obviously spring training next year. Yep. Try to have a better idea of who you think may be contributors and who may not.
The White Sox right now with 69 wins. They were 63 and 99 last year, and very disappointed with what happened. They've been a little better this year, but it has been an inconsistent year. Back of the bag. What a pickup by Longoria. Throw a little wide, and Taylor's aboard. Boy, what a play that would have been. He got there to make the pickup on it, and what a pickup it was.
He's just going to throw it in the same motion. Backhands it on the line. Doesn't have time to stop. and get his feet set. So you just throw, very athletic throw, and just a hair off the bag, and James Loney's got to come off to field it. But that would have been the play of the night, no question.
With Joe McEwing out of the coaching box there.
About to get trampled.
Josh Phegley, the catcher. Foul out of play, strike one. Rays have a game tomorrow night, one on Sunday afternoon to wrap up the home portion of the year. And the final road trip will find the Rays in Boston and then Cleveland. Two strikes. Well-placed fastball. That's one of the primary parts of his game that Hellickson must execute. Command of that fastball.
Yeah, and quite frankly, if he wants to improve as a pitcher going down the road, he's going to have to be better at it. We see it from time to time. We see it for bits and spurts. But he is going to have to lock down fastball location. That will open up so many doors for him.
Well, there's pitch in the dirt, breaking ball, and alertly Taylor advances on it. So on the wild pitch, on that curveball, Taylor winds up at second base.
And limping. He's saying he's all right. Oh, he got himself caught up a little bit right there. That right leg. Didn't get it out in front. Watch it right here. Oh boy, that he's fortunate that it's not worse than just discomfort.
Did he go? Oh, he did not on the appeal. Marvin Hudson's not going to go for it, and he says Phegley didn't go for it either.
Well, it was a fastball up, and let's take a look. It looked like he held up. Ooh, he could have. He was close. That looked even closer.
Sure did.
Yeah.
To the mound. A nice job there to grab that one by Hellickson, and that will retire the side. A man left at second. 2-0 Rays. first. They lead 2-0, moving into the bottom of the fourth. In the game tonight and all season, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. He's facing the 25-year-old left-hander, Jose Quintana. Logan Forsythe, Yunel Escobar, and James Loney will bat against him in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Well, Logan Forsythe with the big hit in this ball game. The difference right now, all that coming with 2 outs.
Ball one inside. Worked the count to 3-2 and then doubled home Longoria and Myers in the first. Two and 0. Quintana trying to get to 200 innings pitched again this year, and he has been very stingy when it comes to the long ball. Given up only 8 home runs all year, and this is his 31st start.
He's closing in, on 190 innings, hit the 200-inning plateau last year, and that is just outstanding. When you can limit that, I mean, that's really remarkable. It's not like he's a sinker ball specialist. It's not like he's throwing 100 miles an hour.
Yep.
But like we said earlier, he knows what he's doing out there for a young pitcher. It's a pretty good idea, good feel for pitching.
And the count is even, 2-2. Battles to foul it away. And another foul ball out of play. Quintana originally signed with the Mets briefly. Yankees had him for a time. High fly ball. This one pretty well tagged. Taylor back. That's out of here. Home run for Logan Forsythe. His 6th of the year, and it's 3-0 Tampa Bay.
Forsythe able to foul off and fight off the breaking balls, and in his first 2 at-bats has gotten a fastball mistake out over the plate. First one went for a double, and this one, as we just referenced, just the 9th home run given up by Quintana, and a no-doubter. Boy, throw the hands, the barrel, that ball was launched pretty well by Logan.
Logan's first home run since the middle of August on the road against the Texas Rangers on the 14th. So a month and 5 days, and now he lowers the boom against the left-hander Quintana. 1-0 the count to Yunel Escobar. Ground ball, that's headed up the middle. Base hit into center. Escobar is aboard with nobody out. Now James Loney. Loney takes it into left center field. That's going to drop. Escobar hits the third. The throw will come through, and he is out at third base. Escobar trying to go first to third on the base hit by Loney. Cut down by Adam Eaton.
Thought he was going to catch Adam Eaton by surprise there. Escobar showing some hustle on the base pass. His ball's out in front of him. You could see him pick up the trajectory and then make his decision. He was going to go. Adam Eaton came up with a strong throw, one-hopped it. And right there, the tag applied by Gillespie.
So the Rays with 3 hits in this inning. But an out here at third base.
Actually never got the hand to the bagger. Maybe he had a chance right there. That's interesting.
Jose Molina takes the ball outside. Into the screen, and it's 1-1. Two-run first, another run in the 4th inning. Covered up by Legley on the off-speed pitch in the dirt. 2-1. Ball, 1 strike count.
Prompting a visit there by Fegley. Does not want to see his pitcher lose Jose Molina here. Make him earn his way on. It's what he's telling him. Hey, let's go.
Consecutive hits, including Jose Molina, who's now at first.
Well, they've been getting pitches to hit, and they've not missed them. You got to give the Rays hitters credit. When they've gotten a mistake, they've put a good swing on it and hit the ball hard. Molina doing it right there. They've continued to keep the pressure on Quintana, just not allowed him to be able to step off the back of that mound and take a deep breath at all.
The Rays have a 3-run lead, trying to add on. Kevin Kiermaier, a base hit his first time. The pitch too low, but the curveball. Third start in his career Quintana has made against the Rays. He lost the only decision he has against them. That came at the end of September 2 years ago. 2-0.
Whenever he is featured here tonight, the Rays have been on it. The fastballs out over have been hit hard. They've been able to spoil and take some good swings at his breaking ball. When you do that enough, the pitcher starts to wonder, now what am I going to do here? Where do I go? Because they're seeing everything very clearly.
And Don Cooper is going to go out there and spend a little time with Quintana, White Sox pitching coach. They talk it over. Remind you fans, you can follow every Rays game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day and more. Download on the App Store or visit RaysBaseball.com today. The Rays got 4 runs, 6 hits over 4 innings in that start that we just referenced. Right now they have 3 runs on 7 hits through 3 1/3 innings off it. Loney at second, Molina at first. 2 balls, no strikes, the count to Kiermaier. Two and one. Well, 3 balls and a strike. This inning open with the home run. 4 men have reached. The only out was Escobar trying to go first to third when he was thrown out. 2 on, 3 and 1 to count on Kevin Kiermaier, who asked and is granted time by Jim Joyce. He was 27 years in the major leagues. Quintana will double off Molina at first. He looked to second, nothing there, but Molina off first, and on the line drive back to the mound, a double play ends the inning, and the Rays settle for 1 on the home run by Logan Forsythe. Sun Sports brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. by Trade Winds Island Resort. So many ways to just let go on St. Pete Beach. And by Wesley Chapel Toyota and Wesley Chapel Honda, home of the lifetime warranty. I-75 North, exit 279. Well, the Rays hit the ball right on the nose there in the bottom of the fourth inning. The big blow, the leadoff home run by Logan Forsythe. But Escobar, Loney, Molina, and even Kiermaier, who lined out right back to Quintana, hit the ball hard. So the Rays settled for one and lead 3-0. In the fifth inning, Jeremy Hellickson, who has made 75 pitches through 4, will face the number 9 man, Marcus Semien, the second baseman. Then back around to Adam Eaton and Alexi Ramirez. It's a strike to Semien. One and one. Hellickson working here in the fifth. It's 6 innings in his last outing. That was on the road in Toronto. It's a swing and a miss from Semien, 2-2. Went 5 1/3 in his last outing at the Trop. It was on the 7th of this month. Three and two.
I think for Jeremy too, that the end of this season very important for him to go into the off season healthy. Number one, number two, confident. A couple of nice games to finish things out will help him leave everybody with a really good impression in what's going to be a dogfight next year for the starting rotation.
Yep. And he walked Semien to lead off the fifth. Second time he's walked him. Yeah, you're right, and it's interesting. You know, when the Price trade was being bandied about and all the discussion concern about giving up pitching, well, you never, regardless, you never have enough pitching. But the Rays could easily have 7, maybe 8 guys in spring training contending for 5 spots in the rotation.
Let's start with Cobb, Archer, Smiley, Odorizzi, Jeremy, Carnes, Coleman. Matt Moore when he's back and healthy. I mean, right there, right off the tip. That's not counting anything else that's done or anybody else that emerges. You think about Montgomery.
Yeah, there are a couple of arms on that Durham ball club that probably get a look. You think they might not. You know, at this point, here we are in September talking about it.
Right.
Well, they might make it, but you figure they'll get a look. You know, there are a couple of guys that deserve a look, and it'll be an interesting spring training from a pitching perspective, to be sure. Just to see a couple of those arms that we haven't seen a lot of.
Yep. Be anxious to see Nathan Carnes again on Sunday. He came up. The idea was, well, you're not really sure. Had kind of an up and down year in AAA. Some very, very good outings and some not so good.
Yep.
And he was just sensational.
Yeah, we saw the upside of him, to be sure. Made it through the first, and then it was lights out after that. Adam Eaton back into left. That's going to be over his head. He plays it off the wall. It's a 2-base hit. Stopping at third is Semien on the double by Eaton. And just like that, the White Sox have a threat. And here has been an issue for the Rays. You know, they've held leads in 12 consecutive games and have gone 7-5 in that stretch. Holding leads has been an issue.
And some substantial leads, some 4-run leads, some 3-run leads. And this right here, you know, Ben Zobrist's playing a little bit more shallow because Adam Eaton, you're not expecting him to go the other way and be able to burn you. That's just a mistake pitch by Jeremy Hellickson. And now you're absolutely right. And what was a comfortable 3-0 lead, the way Jeremy's throwing the ball has now gotten interesting. these hitters seeing Jeremy for the 3rd time already.
Pitch is down. Boy, that double by Eaton is 25th of the year. The White Sox have been ecstatic with what they've gotten from Eaton. They got him from the Diamondbacks. You know, he's only 25 years old. He's had a great year for them.
Yeah, I mean, he serves the leadoff role so well. Good on base guy, batting average.
That's a soft liner into right, will fall in front of Myers, and a base hit scores the run. Eaton advanced to 3rd, and now it's 3-1.
Well, and Semien really held up down there at 3rd base, not sure if Will Myers was going to be able to make a play on that. So he didn't break until that ball hit the turf. Everybody moves up 90 feet. Chicago has cut into the lead and still threatens.
Gomes up in the bullpen for the Rays with the DH Jose Abreu about to step into the batter's box. Ellickson has hit him, and he lifted a fly ball to right. Came into the game hitting .319, 5th in the league, and .317 with men in scoring position. That's going to be a strike. Nobody out, 1st and 3rd. So the game situation here in the top half of the 5th. Eaton down at 3rd base. Runner at 1st, Ramirez. Base hit into center. That will score Eaton, and the White Sox cut it to 1, 3-2. Watch Abreu here.
Yeah, watch him pull the hands in, trying to come in on him, and he's still able to rip that bat through the zone and go right back up the middle.
Yeah, what that demonstrates is a guy with great power, but also a good hitter.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. Not a brain-dead hacker.
So a walk to lead off the inning, and it has led to 2 runs. The Rays lead in jeopardy with the man in scoring position, Alexi Ramirez, on second. Abreu's at first. And here's Connor Gillespie. Gillespie 0 for 2. Strike 1. Back into the screen. 0-2. Three runs, 7 hits for the Rays. 2 runs, 6 hits for the White Sox. And nobody out in the top of the 5th inning. Down to first. Loney to second, 1. That's the only one they're going to get. Ramirez advances to third. So Gillespie reaches on a fielder's choice with Abreu forced Loney to Escobar.
Well, he's got to back up there to get a hop, a tough hop at that. Get rid of it quick, but Escobar, no chance but to get the lead runner. And now what you need here is a ground ball double play and get out of this inning with a lead. Garcia's had a couple of really good swings at Jeremy Hellickson's breaking. See if he goes back to that or sticks with the fastball change combo.
Liner into left center. That's going to be over the head of Zobrist. One run is in. Here comes Gillespie to score on the double by Garcia, and the White Sox take a 4-3 lead.
This is a prime example of in-game adjustments. We just mentioned that Garcia has had some really good swings at the curveball of Jeremy Hellickson, and yet they go right back to it. Obviously not recognizing that, and Garcia, for the third at-bat, sees a curveball out over the plate, and this one he gets over the head of Zobrist and drills it. That's where, it can be a part of the game plan. No question about it. But you've got to recognize when a hitter is on it and go to something else.
Well, that's it for Hellickson. He will not go 5 tonight, and he departs trailing 4-3. White Sox have taken the lead here in the top of the 5th inning. It's your chance to win a jersey right off a player's back and other great prizes, and raise home games tomorrow and Sunday during the annual Shirts Off Our Backs fundraiser. All proceeds benefit the Rays Baseball Foundation. For more details, visit raysbaseball.com/shirts. Paul Konerko facing Brandon Gomes. 1 ball, no strikes. So the double by Garcia has given the White Sox the lead. On 1. Two. side to Konerko. 2. All this opened with the walk.
Out of the 9-hole. Never a good start, a leadoff walk. You do it at the bottom of the order. A lot of times the double whammy, and that's exactly what's happened here.
Konerko fouls the breaking pitch out of play up the right side.
You know, not to mention, you have to go back to that first pitch curveball to Garcia. You know, that was a curveball, Dwayne, that you made reference to in the first at bat. Like, I want to throw that there again because he had such a good swing at it. His second at bat, he got a curveball, lined it on a rope to Ben Zobrist out to left field.
And then no sooner than had you said, be careful with the curveball. There it was. There it was.
I know. And you know, and you can understand coming in that, hey, listen, we feel like there's a weakness here with Garcia on the curveball, and that's how we want to exploit him, and that's fine. But once you pick up those swings, you say to yourself, you know what? The game plan's going to change tonight. And that's what we talk about. We talk about in-game adjustments. Sometimes they're doing something you didn't expect them to do. You've got to be able to see that, recognize that, whether it's Molina, whether it's Hellickson, or whether it's Jim Hickey on the bench, and you talk about it in between innings, and you go out there and tack them differently. Well, they didn't, and now it's costing the lead.
Here is Michael Taylor taking a strike. And regarding that, we mentioned their difficulty holding leads in that stretch of 12 games, which they've gone 7-5 and held the lead. 6 of those turned out to be 5 losses, and they failed to hold leads. They had a 3-0 lead tonight. They'd had 3 times they'd had 4-0 leads. Now twice 3-0. They had a 2-0 lead and a 1-0 lead. And this lead has disappeared.
When you have leads, when you're the team to score first, your record is off the charts. And that's true in just about any sport out there, except maybe basketball. But you get the point. Yep. And it's just been too much of that lately. Some of it from the starting rotation, some of that from the bullpen.
Yeah, and you mentioned that earlier, maybe on the pregame.
Yes.
How surprisingly, how difficult times have been for the bullpen.
Yeah, you would never have thought it. We went back and looked at the starters from the 5th of August. That's 41 games, and in that time, the bullpen is 8 of 17 in save opportunities, less than 50%.
Yeah, it's hard to live like that.
No, yeah, you can't. Well-stocked bullpen, I might add.
Performances like that would make Scott Percy mad. You don't want to make him mad. No. 2-2 to the backstop, skipping by Molina. Count is 3-2. So a wild pitch charge to Gomes. Over to third goes Garcia. Three and two, the count to Michael Taylor. Ooh, he took a big cut at a fastball. 3-2 there. So the foul ball, and we'll see another 3-2 pitch. And there's the catcher, Josh Fegley, on deck. Ball again, and that catches Molina. Deflection off the Rays catcher. The 8th hitter to step in here, Taylor. He's worked the count full. He's taken a couple of big 3-2 cuts here. Fouls it again. This will be at least a 9-pitch at bat. Gomes and Taylor matching up. Garcia aboard, responsible to Pelixon's line, and there is ball 4. First and third. Fegley will be the 9th Chicago White Sox hitter to come to the plate in the 5th.
And be careful with the heater here to Fegley. We've seen him coming out of his shoes on the heater. That doesn't mean you don't throw him one, but you better make sure that you're thinking about location, driving that ball to a spot on the outer third or inner third of the plate.
Fegley, 26 years old. Shown some power in the minor leagues the last couple of years, including 4 home runs and a stint with the White Sox last year. Goes after this one, skies it foul near the stands. Longoria reaching in. He got it. Evan Longoria, a tough play just short of the bullpen bench, reaching in to make the grab to finally retire the White Sox in the 5th. They score 4. And the Rays are coming in to hit, down 4-3. Nice backhand job there by Longoria.
Today, the Tampa Bay chapter of the Baseball Writers Association of America handed out their awards, including the Paul C. Smith Champion Award to Evan Longoria, the player who best exemplifies the spirit of true professionalism on and off the field. Then the Rookie of the Year, Jake Odorizzi, outvoted Kevin Kiermaier for that award today. Mark Topkin handing out the awards prior to the game. And then Ben Zobrist, guys, wins the Don Zimmer Most Valuable Player Award. Zobrist in the closest balloting ever in a 3-man ballot between Zobrist, McGee, and Longoria. They were all within 3 points. You can see the winners today. Zobrist said it was an honor for him and quite a battle for Zobrist. Early part of the season, he has come on quite nicely in the second half, and Sid Zimmer was on hand to award Ben the MVP trophy. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, and how fitting and how wonderful that is to have that award named after Don Zimmer. It's just extra special to win that award. And here is Ben Zobrist leading off the bottom of the 5th, popping it into shallow right center, and in from right is Garcia making the catch. So on the first pitch here in the bottom of the 5th inning, Zobrist is the first out.
Boy, what of a turn of events for Jose Quintana. He was out there under duress. The Rays were pushing him. Found himself down 3-0, but his offense has roared back, giving him the lead now here in the 5th.
Brandon Guyer Takes a strike from Quintana. How about the change? The change in this game. The Rays led 3-0 after that leadoff homer in the fourth by Forsythe, and then we're just battering the ball around the ballpark off Quintana. Settled for just that one run in the fourth. He got out of that, and his teammates give him 4 in the top of the fifth.
It's been one of those strange years, and you're right. They batted. Listen, he got out of that inning with a line drive right back at him that was smoked by Kiermaier, and 2 outs on the bases. That's how he gets out of that inning.
Yep.
And now working with the lead that quickly.
A ball down. It's 2-2. Longoria on deck. Followed by Will Myers. If the Rays can get something going. One out, bases empty. 2-2 count. Cutting the miss. Geyer strikes out. 2-2 breaking ball got him.
And not Quintana's best effort, but Brandon Geyer just missed it. Big swing on a full count hook. Boy, that hung too. Almost was so bad that it stayed up above the swing. And Brandon Geyer expecting that pitch to come down a little bit more.
Longoria takes the pitch up. 1 ball, no strikes. Fly ball deep into right center field with Carey. Garcia's there, however, on the track and makes the grab. So Evan gave it a ride to the opposite side. We're headed into the 6th, 4-3 Chicago. Out in front in the first on a 2-run double by Logan Forsythe, scoring Evan Longoria and Will Myers. Forsythe opened the 4th inning with his 6th home run of the year. That made it a 3-0 ball game, and the White Sox put 4 up in the 5th inning. Alexi Ramirez drove in the first run, then Abreu with a base hit up the middle, followed by Abisail Garcia's 2-run double to give the White Sox a 4-3 lead. That was the end of the night for Jeremy Hellickson. And now Brandon Gomes, who finished out the 5th, will open the 6th. And he faces the number 9 hitter, Marcus Semien. Throws him a strike. Semien opened the 5th inning with a walk. White Sox sent 9 men to the plate and scored 4 times. 1-1 here in the 6th inning. Nobody on, nobody out. One ball, 2 strikes. Night game tomorrow, day game on Sunday. Monday will turn out to be a travel day up to Boston and into Cleveland. Semien fouls it. The count is even, 2-2.
It'll be interesting to see how the Rays build the bullpen for next year. That's something as we learned from Todd's interview with Andrew, and Andrew said that many times, that that's the one thing that keeps him up at night. The bullpen. It's the one thing that can be very unpredictable from year to year. It seems as if the Rays have always been able to find guys and put together a bullpen that's been very effective. This year, a little bit shaky. We referenced their problems since the beginning of August. A lot of guys getting an extended look, starting here with Brandon Gomes, Jeff Beliveau, like what he's done from the left side.
That's why it's so amazing when you look at relievers who are consistent year after year, because history tells you that that's the exception.
Yeah.
You'll get guys lights out one year, not so the next year. Might come back the year following to be just great again.
That's right. Oh, it's so true. And that's why it's so difficult. You know, bullpen's got a lot of moving parts, a lot of members out there. You're talking about probably 7 guys in your bullpen. And for it to work effectively, guys, you know, you've got to be able to count on them. You've got to have a middle, a couple setup guys, someone from the left side. And if they're not all working in unison and doing their job, then the bullpen will falter.
And you can have good arms out there, but you got to handle them correctly, which is another challenge. This ball will go all the way to the wall, and Semien is aboard to open the 6th inning. This time with a double. He's walked twice, and now with the double. You know, that's the other side about a bullpen, how you handle it. And for the life of me, and we've seen a lot of games and a lot of bullpens, to handle a bullpen properly is really a work of art.
There's no question, because I think if you go out, and the teams that I've been associated with and talking to guys coming out of the bullpen over the years, you very rarely have a guy in the bullpen that says, my manager handles the bullpen the greatest. They all complain about how the bullpen is utilized. Yep. All of them. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody's got an issue with how a bullpen is used. So you're absolutely right about that.
Want to know the count on Adam Eaton with a man in scoring position, and he's been lethal that way, hitting .376 with men in scoring position coming into this game. Riefenhauser and Geltz get up in the bullpen.
And you can see here too the last few ball games, Joe Madden not afraid to throw these young guys in the bullpen right into the fire. Wants to see what they're made of. Game on the line type situations. 1 run.
Foul ball. Eaton was impressive when the Rays played this team in April. Tonight he's got that double in their 4-run fifth. He's thrown out a man at third base. Leadoff double by Semien. Again, the number 9 hitter setting up an issue for the Rays. It's out of play the other way. Still 1-2. Holmes came in, inherited a runner in scoring position, stranded that runner. And a cut the miss. Eaton out on strikes.
That's impressive work there by Brandon Gomes. Adam Eaton, you talked about how well he's been swinging the bat in these situations in this ball game, and Gomes able to go out there after the leadoff double and strike him out. That's big because, you know, at minimum, Eaton wanted to at least move the runner to third. And obviously, the strikeout doesn't allow him to do that.
There's Alexei Ramirez. There's a run scored and a run batted in tonight. 2 of 3 on the evening. Next ball 1. The White Sox have had some issues on the road, especially lately. They're 30-45 this year on the road. They've lost 10 of their last 12 road games. So a stop here would be very big for the Rays. The Rays bats back in here in the bottom of the inning and try to do something against the White Sox. Right now it's a 1-run ball game. Holmes trying to keep it that way with Ramirez at the plate and Abreu on deck. He has his work cut out for him. Minor base hit into left, charged by Zobrist. Stop sign is up, and now the throw and the tag at third. Runner trying to go to second, and he is safe. How about that? Zobrist came up with that, got the ball back to Longoria. McEwen was putting up the stop sign, and Semien was thinking about scoring and could not get back to the bag as Longoria tags him out.
Shows you what the margin for error is, and you're right. Semien was coming around third. He was going to score. He gets the stop sign, tries to get back to the bag. A nice athletic tag there by Evan Longoria, and then a nice flip out there. But you, boy, what a nice slide by Ramirez. He doesn't pick it up till too late. By the time he puts the brakes on, now it's a race.
So Ramirez gets hit at second. The Rays get it out. Longoria putting the tag on Semien for the second out. And now Abreu up here. And with first base open, Ramirez moving into second on that play after the base hit. And Abreu will be intentionally walked with Connor Gillespie due up.
Not going to let the big guy hurt you, period.
Well, he drove in a run in the 5th inning, and that was number 104 on the year.
Well, and now you wonder if Riefenhauser comes in to face Gillespie.
There's ball 4. And Joe Madden already out of that dugout, making the walk to the mound. So the Rays are going to go for the left-hander here, and we will be back in a moment. Tigers and Royals square off in the crucial AL Central showdown. Then on Fox Sports 1 in the NL Central, the leading Cardinals take on the Cincinnati Reds. The action starts at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox and continues at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Detroit starting the day with a half-game lead on Kansas City in the American League Central, and they have built a 5-0 lead in Kansas City tonight. They're in the top of the 4th inning of that game. Here's C.J. Riefenhauser will take over. He is the 3rd pitcher for the Rays tonight, and he'll be facing Connor Gillespie. Riefenhauser on for the 5th time. Gillespie up here with 2 men on and 2 men out. Gillespie, the older brother of the Rays' first-round pick this year, Casey Gillespie, both out of Wichita State. And the first pitch is a breaking ball for a strike. Riefenhauser was in the game Wednesday for 2/3 of an inning against New York. That's a strike. Followed it up with another breaking ball. This went toward Gillespie, and it broke to catch the plate and the zone.
And you can see him freeze on it just a little bit, not expecting it in that spot, but it comes back, gets the plate. Well, Riefenhauser 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning.
Ooh, he tried to shoot that outside corner and just missed.
Well, it was the positioning. Look where Molina's at, well off the plate. But see, he fields that right and receives that ball right in the middle of his body, makes it look good, although you can see on Fox track well off.
Jim Joyce not going for it.
No. Trying to get him to take the bait for sure.
Now 2-2. And Joyce is an umpire who'll make you throw a strike too.
And then let you know about it.
Yeah.
Some authority.
Yes, he will. Well, you can't call too many strikes, he'll lose his voice. 2-2 now. Popped up foul, right back out of play. Dixon charged with 4 runs and 4 1/3. All of that happened in the 5th inning. Gomes took over for him, and now Riefenhauser following Gomes. Gillespie fouls this one away. Again, and the count is full. All the way out. Came back with a slider. 3-2 slider strikes out Gillespie, leaving 2 men on base. We're headed into the home half of inning number 6. Rays down 4-3. Rays trail 4-3, facing the 25-year-old left-hander Jose Quintana, who has 4 strikeouts on the night. Back-to-back strikeouts in the 2nd. Got Myers in the 3rd, added another one in the 5th on Geyer. Tonight's pitching performance presented by Volkswagen. Through the front 5, he's made 76 pitches. He's given up 3 runs on 7 hits. There's 1 earned run to this point. And his first pitch to Will Myers is outside the bottom of the 6th inning now underway. Myers officially 0 for 2, having reached on the error in the 1st. Keeps it up the right side. That's going to slice out of play. No walks issued by Quintana. One ball, 2 strikes on the chopper foul. Rays after their 75th victory of the season tonight. They came in 5 under. Two. They'd have to finish with a flurry to finish over 500. This one, 2 more left with the White Sox. 6 on the road. Lifted into left. Taylor into left center for it. 1 away.
The second baseman, number 10, Logan Forsythe.
The Rays are going to finish over 500. They'd have to win 8 of those 9 games, including this one. It's Logan Forsythe.
To do that, they're going to have to get the offense going once again, down by just a run. Logan Forsythe, who's had a big night off of Quintana. A couple of fastballs out over the plate.
A fastball to start this at bat.
What? Yeah, to make that adjustment. And if you're going to throw that fastball, you better get it to a better spot. A couple of curveballs here, you're right. Those 2 that he got were out over the plate. And both of them were smashed.
Geltz continues to throw in the bullpen. The other way into right, and Garcia makes the catch.
Okay, how about the difference here in in-game adjustments?
Gotcha.
A couple of fastballs that he didn't locate well. They got smoked. Now that doesn't mean you're not going to throw him another fastball, but in this particular bat, I'm going to go breaking ball, changeup. Got to get him off the fastball. He's all over it right now. And he's not being fooled by the velocity of it, where in the location, you know, as far as up and down goes. And so you make that adjustment, you retire him.
Great example of that. Now Escobar, a single in the 4th. And he takes a strike.
Now, if you can do that for every guy in the lineup over the course of a couple hours, 2 or 3 different times, then you, too, can be a starting pitcher.
It's 1-1. Escobar now 3 of 8 in his career against Quintana. And the line drive in the first inning was hit hard to the shortstop, Alexi Ramirez. Yeah. 2-1 now. He somehow held up on that pitch.
Yeah. We've seen that before with Yunel Escobar. As he starts to swing, if you feel like he's going to go, that hand comes off the bat.
James Loney on deck. 2 outs, bases empty. And that's a strike on the outside part of the plate. See Escobar head to first. It just doesn't work out all that well for him.
You know, it doesn't. And this is what gets him into trouble. A lot of times he's going to take off a little early. There's nothing wrong with that pitch right there. And we've seen it over the course of the season. Borderline pitches with Yunel Escobar are going to go against him almost every time.
3-2, and he strikes out. So that retires the side, and we're going to head into the 7th inning. 4-3 Chicago.
inning at Tropicana Field prior to tonight's game. It was the 2014 Minor League Award winners. Mikey Montook was the Durham Bulls MVP. Ryan Brett won for Montgomery. Patrick Leonard for Charlotte. Also Kean Wong, Hunter Lockwood, Angel Perez, Brent Honeywell you saw earlier, Henry Centeno, and Oscar Rojas. All the winners for the individual teams. And then, guys, they named the Player of the Year and Pitcher of the Year. And Johnny Field, a kid out of Las Vegas, started the year at Bowling Green, ended up with the Charlotte Stone Crabs. He is the Player of the Year. And Blake Snell, a lefty out of the state of Washington, just 21 years old, the Pitcher of the Year, also started his season at Bowling Green and ended up with the Charlotte Stone Crabs. In addition, Tommy Coyle was Base Runner of the Year. Adam Liebertor from the Durham Bulls, Reliever of the Year. And Justin O'Connor, a catcher with Charlotte, the Defensive Player of the Year. Those minor leaguers, we may see them another day in the future here at the Trop. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, it was a nice ceremony and recognized for good work in the minor leagues. And you're right, look toward the future there with those young men. Congratulations to all of them. Steve Geltz, the new pitcher for the Rays, as we move into the 7th. Pitcher number 4 following Hellickson, Gomes, and Riefenhauser. He'll be facing Avisail Garcia. First pitch is a strike here. So Geltz making his first appearance since last Tuesday when he got ahead of Derek Jeter and had a pitch come in too close and get Jeter, and that tended to upset the Yankees. So Geltz back out here tonight.
Took a 2.5-day crash course on how to pitch inside.
This pitch is outside, 2-1. Yeah, that was fun in the aftermath of all that when you compared staffs and go all the way back to 2008 and which staff had hit more batters and all of that. Not close, a wide margin.
Right.
Yep. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Joe Madden said that he wouldn't begin to tell another team how their pitchers should pitch. Those are fun to a point. 2, and that's fouled out of play. But that is the amazing thing about it all, because there's no way. Here's Geltz pitching to already one of baseball's immortals. He's not going to want to hit him 2 strikes. So.
Oh, that was his quote. His quote was perfect.
Yeah.
It's Derek Jeter. I'm 0-2. I want to get him out. He's never going to face him again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Well, you know what? That's a frustrated, extremely frustrated manager running off at the mouth.
Yeah, and it's been frustrating for a lot of teams this year, and including that club recently. Well, he strikes out Garcia. Hey, it's been frustrating. I mean, pick a team in the American League East except for the Baltimore Orioles.
That's right.
I mean, how about the Blue Jays? They thought they had something really good going. They're not going to win anything. The Rays certainly have been disappointing. They're not going to win anything. The Red Sox, this time a year ago, the world was their oyster. I mean, they're
a shell of their former selves.
Exactly. And the Yankees, plenty frustrated.
Yep.
So that's the name of the game in the American League East, except for the Baltimore Orioles.
What that first trip into Toronto, and I'm not sure when exactly that was, but I remember when we came out of there, we were like, this team's the real deal.
Yeah.
They're going to just pound people. Well, I mean, that's how it changed.
Long season. Lots of ebbs and flows to a season. Well, they run Geltz out of there here. Already had one pitcher make a reception on a pop-up tonight. That's the quota.
Yeah.
Longoria takes care of that.
Yeah, and they let him because it didn't matter.
Yeah, it was an infield fly.
Right. Now go ahead, practice, work on it. I tell you what, though, that was a nice job by Evan. Top of the mound, and he was standing right where the rubber was. So you've got that, you know, you have the rubber that's dug out in front from the pitchers. You could it can get tricky up there with footwork.
Michael Taylor, pitch to him is upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Nice pitch out there on the corner for a strike. 1-1. One and two. Fastball that time out there. One-run ball game. Rays and the White Sox. Little play the other way. Opening game of the final home series of the year. He chases this one. Nice getty up on the fastball away from the right-handed hitter. 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the 7th. 4-3. Rays coming into bat in the home half of the 7th inning. Jose Quintana, just 25 years old.
Well, he has really recovered nicely here after the Rays had gotten to him in the first inning. The leadoff home run by Forsythe in the 4th. And still was in trouble that inning. Hit the ball very hard against him. But since then, the 5th to 6th, it has been 6 up, 6 down.
Andy Wilkins will take over at first base for Paul Konerko. Konerko had an issue with his left hand. He injured early in the month. Just back, seeing some action. And he is lifted at first now for Andy Wilkins. James Loney, the Rays first baseman, opens the bottom of the 7th. Rays need a couple runs here, down 4-3, and the first pitch is a strike. Soft liner to third. That's caught by Gillespie. Gives Loney 1 for 3 tonight. Brad Balfour up in the Rays bullpen.
Number 28, Jose Molina.
Molina has struck out and has a base hit tonight. 1 for 2. And there's a strike. It's low, 1-1. After getting through that 4th inning when he was battered around pretty good, has settled right in. He's retired after that line drive double play. Following that, 7 in a row.
Yep. And there's a little bounce in his step, his stuff. He's got a good idea of what he's doing. We knew that coming in, but he's putting the pitches there to prove it.
You know, that's amazing how that happens, because you lead off the 4th with a home run. You hit the ball hard.
Yeah.
Nothing but hits and hard hit baseballs. He gets out of it, giving up just 1 run. His team scores 4. There's a diving stop by Gillespie at third, and the throw to first in time to get Molina. Nice stop there by Gillespie. 2 gone.
Yep, and good court awareness too here, because as he dives, makes the play, he realizes Molina running. He doesn't have to rush his throw. He's going to get up, set himself, and finish the play off.
Yeah, that's a challenge there, right, to get your feet under you after you make a play like that.
Yeah, when you've got a burner going up the line, you see some guys are scrambling, throwing a little bit off balance maybe, but Gillespie there was afforded a little bit more time than normal.
Yeah, we've seen what happens if your footwork isn't just right on a throw to first. It sails and bounces and goes any which way.
That is so true.
On strike here on Kevin Kiermaier. He hit that line drive in the 4th, really right back. Quintana caught it about face high and turned it into a double play.
His last 2 times, well, actually his only 2 times up, he's whistled balls right back up the middle.
There's a base hit the other way to the left of Gillespie and to left. 2 for 3 on the night for Kevin Kiermaier.
But he's had a very, very good approach against Quintana. A tough lefty to have to deal with. He's using the middle of the field the other way. It's a tough breaking ball here. You try to pull this, the inning's over. Instead, he just slaps it right by the 3rd baseman. 2-out hit.
Well, a man aboard. That's 100 pitches for Quintana. Don Cooper, the pitching coach, heads to the mound, and the bullpen starts to stir up the left field line. Rays will have the top of the order. Ben Zobrist due up. As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #SunSportsFanPhoto for a chance to be shown at an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Action in the bullpen for the White Sox. Jake Petrichka busy down there. And Zobrist pops it up. Shallow right. Garcia in, and the second baseman Semien drops it. Here comes a play at the plate, and Kiermaier is out. Kiermaier trying to score. He may have run through the stop sign.
I think that he did. Just trying to watch the play and catch him out of the corner of the eye. I think Tom Foley was holding him up. Boy, this is a difficult play. This is a play you want Avisail Garcia to make, but he never got there. Tough for Semien, but he recovers nicely and gets the throw and the tag.
That ends the inning. We are through 7, still 4-3 Chicago. To score the potential tying run on this ball hit by Zobrist. It turns out to be a base hit for Zobrist. And Kiermaier tagged out by the catcher on the throw from the second baseman Semien.
Well, he's always aggressive with his running, whether it's out there in center field, right field, on the base paths. And he certainly went for it there. I think he's still kicking himself. He's not real happy with how that play ended up.
So we go to the 8th. Still a 1-run deficit for the Rays. Steve Geltz on the mound. Fastball by Quigley. Quigley doubled in the second inning, 1 for 3. Rays with continuing action in the bullpen. Yates, the right-hander. Beliveau, the left-hander. Well, that's one thing Andrew Friedman was talking about earlier. You don't really want to be in this situation, but it has afforded the Rays an opportunity to see some arms that they otherwise might not have seen, with an eye toward making decisions for the offseason and opening next year.
Yep. And you'll be more informed. You'll see what these guys do at the major league level. Listen, when Geltz goes out there to pitch, or Beliveau, or Yates, any of these young relievers that are getting opportunities, Riefenhauser, they're not out there saying, well, we're out of it. So no, this game means everything to them. And so you're seeing them pitch as hard as they can.
And strike 3 called on the Chicago catcher. Geltz picks up another strikeout.
Good fastball here, stays behind it, drives it. It's got to the top of the strike zone on the outside corner.
Here's Marcus Semien. He's been on 3 times. No, he made an error on a ball back in the first inning, and then was after that short popper by Zobrist and in front of Avisail Garcia, tried to make the catch and dropped it and went for a hit. Semien gathered the ball and made the throw to the plate that cut down Kiermaier. Counts a ball and a strike. Out of play, 1-2. Popped up right side, short right, Forsythe out, but Myers is there. 2 up, 2 down. That's 5 in a row retired by Geltz. Rays may be leaving the station for the season, but there's one more Tampa Bay Times Family Fun Day Sunday. Kids 14 and under receive a Raymond trade presented by Bright House Networks while supplies last. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS. Gonna get a pitching change here with 2 outs in the 8th. Back in a moment. White Sox scored 4 in the 5th. Ball game now in the top of the 8th. Jeff Beliveau becomes the Rays' new pitcher, their 5th of the game, making his 26th appearance.
Well, really like what we've seen from Beliveau. Talk about that an awful lot. More than a strikeout an inning from a guy who is not going to beat you with pure stuff, but he moves it around effectively.
Pitch to Adam Eaton is a called strike. The Tigers scored 5 in the 5th at Kansas City. They now lead the Royals 10-0. Verlander pitching for Detroit. It's foul. The other way, 0-2.
Well, maybe the reports of Detroit's demise.
Yeah, they went in with a half-game lead. Trichka throwing again in the bullpen.
That's a big series too. You saw that game's going to be on tomorrow.
Yep.
National TV.
So it appears that will care with a game and a half difference in the 2 top spots in the Central. Eaton is out on strikes. Bottom of the 8th coming. Rays down by 1. Rays down by 1. It's 4-3 onto the bottom of the 8th inning with Brandon Geyer in the batter's box, taking a first pitch in there for a strike. A breaking ball from Quintana, consistently 80, 82, somewhere in that neighborhood. One strike pitch, hot shot foul toward the bullpen.
Well, and a couple different versions of that breaking ball. He's got the one that he'll throw in there for a strike, and he really tries to spin it, taking it out of the zone when he's ahead in the count like he is right now. He struck out Brandon Geyer on a curveball in his last at-bat.
And he gets him on a fastball this time. Well, that thought might have been in the back of Geyer's mind.
Yeah, and did you see Fegley? Look where Fegley is. He wants that ball up. He's up out of his crouch a little bit. He was motioning for Heater up. It's exactly where Quintana put it, and he picks up another strikeout.
Well, that's one out in the 8th inning. And Robin Ventura comes out to make the pitching change. 7 1/3 for Quintana.
bring you back into the bottom of the 8th. Stay tuned after the game for Rays Live, the post-game show presented by Checkers. Todd Naressis will be anchoring the coverage, of course. We'll break down Logan Forsythe's big night. I'll also be in the clubhouse gathering those interviews, and you'll hear from Joe Madden as well. And, of course, tomorrow we are not airing the game, but join us Sunday at 1 for the pregame show presented by Gulf Coast Honda Dealers. Nathan Carnes will be making his home debut, and hard to believe, guys, it's the final home game of 2014.
Yeah, where'd the season go?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the question that we all must ponder. Rays in other ways asking that same question.
Yeah.
Where did a season that had such promise go? 1-1 the count to Evan Longoria here in the bottom of the 8th. Jake Petrichka on the hill in relief of the lefty Jose Quintana. Pitch in on Longoria. Boy, you talk about hitting one right off the fist. I don't know how it didn't hit him.
No, and Evan's trying to figure out where on the bat that ball hit. That thing had late movement in. Watch this, right there. Oh, get off me. You know, if he swings and misses at that, it hits him in the right bicep.
That's amazing.
Down and away is wide open.
Wow. Tapper foul to keep the at bat going. Petrichka now 63 games. 283. Two and two. And the White Sox each with 9 hits. Again, a pitch in on Longoria, and he pops it up. There is handles it. Boy, when Petrichka pitches in, he really pitches in.
Yeah, he's got some life on that fastball and late arm side run. You're right, that ball just darts in. Yeah, when you see it move that much in slow motion, it's moving.
Will Myers. It's the fastball, strike one.
That could be a dangerous spot to go on Will, because he may just fly that front side open and tie this game up if he stays in there.
Chopper foul, 0-2, headed toward the bullpen.
Well, Will has said this has been his most frustrating season of his life.
And you can believe that.
Yep. Well,
I mean, here's a guy who scouts used to just listen to the ball off his bat.
And usually when he says something, it's pretty right to the point and an honest assessment. So here he says that, take it to the bank.
So down, 1-2.
You know, he's another guy here that's going to get an opportunity coming down the last week and a half to try to put some things together to have a good feeling in the offseason. It's not going to be a great feeling, but at least he can have some confidence going into camp next year.
2-2. The count is full. Quintana worked the front 7 1/3, giving way to Petrichka. And he strikes out Will Myers out on strikes. 8th inning is complete. We'll head into the 9th. 4-3 Chicago. We're just waiting for something in the bottom of the 9th to happen that could really be fun. Hey, this October, history will be made as baseball's postseason moves to America's new sports network. Fox Sports 1 is your new home for baseball's National League Division and Championship Series, and it all begins this October. Well, Alexi Ramirez will open the 9th inning, and Grant Balfour is the new Rays pitcher. Will be number 6 on the night. Ramirez, who is 3 for 4, fouls away that first pitch, strike 1. Jose Abreu, the next hitter, and then Connor Gillespie due up. Two. Balfour was in the game Wednesday night, an inning and a third, scoreless outing with a strikeout. It's 1-2. Abreu. Hopper toward the line and right, tough play, foul ball, and no one can get there. Myers, Forsythe, and Aloney all converging, but it drops foul and out of reach. In the bottom of the 9th, they'll have Forsythe, who's been responsible for all 3 runs scored by the Rays tonight. Forsythe, Escobar, and Loney due up. Fly ball center field. Kiermaier's there. One away.
Designated number 79,
Jose Abreu. It's a ball too low.
Speed pitch there by Balfour. You know, he's been the fastball, the slider. We've seen here the last few outings. Basically, what amounts to a split changeup that he's been trying to incorporate, trying to broaden that arsenal a little bit, give him another weapon.
This one by Abreu follows with the fastball.
And you start to slow him down a little bit, show him something in the mid 80s, and then come back 92 heat. Right above the swing.
Well, you heard Andrew Friedman say earlier tonight he expects Balfour to rebound next year and be effective the way he was before.
Yeah, well, and you know what? Grant's not an idiot, and he realizes at this point in his career he's probably going to have to reinvent himself a little bit. You know, and he was given a dose of that this year, so he'll figure some things out. Doesn't have the same fastball, but he'll continue to develop the changeup, that little split that he's throwing to go along with the breaking ball. Maybe he'll start to change speeds on the breaking ball. He'll figure out what he needs to do. You know, his exit interviews with Jim Hickey and Joe Madden, they'll give him some ideas to take into the offseason, and I fully expect, with him being the competitor that he is, that will be true.
3-2 to Abreu, and he did not go. Well, he held up just in time. And Abreu is aboard again. Ooh, pretty close.
Very, very close. It's tough, too, with a hitter like Abreu. When he gets that bat started, really tough to hold up. He was able to, if by the slimmest of margins.
Connor Gillespie reached out a fielder's choice and scored a run in the 5th. Sends it into center field. Kiermaier's got to go to his left and back to make the catch. He turns and heaves it toward first. Well, all you could do is smile.
Yep. Yep. And look at him. He's out there trying to talk to Will Myers and tell him what he had in mind on that throw, because you're right. He peeled back on the route, made the catch, spun, and just flung it towards anybody.
Yeah.
Here we go.
You know, if you do that and then you have to explain yourself to the right fielder, probably not going to work. He's okay. I'll slow it down a little bit. Easy. Got to admit, he's pretty fun to watch.
No doubt.
And there's a strike to Garcia.
I mean, he plays every play in the field, every at bat, like it's the last one he'll ever have.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to like it. Two. Hey, if he makes it, maybe you tie it up, you go extra innings, you save your pitcher two. All comes together.
Yeah. And at minimum, it's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
What will he do next?
Two-strike pitch.
Oh, yeah.
He's out. No runs. A walk and a man left. We go to the bottom of the ninth, 4-3 Chicago. Matt Joyce is going to be called upon to pinch hit for Logan Forsythe. Dick Petrichka has gone back to the mound, but the bullpen has been busy with a right-hander and a left-hander, and as soon as Joyce is announced, Robin Ventura comes out of the dugout. So Petrichka, who got the last 2 outs in the 8th inning, one on a strikeout, will depart, and we'll have a new pitcher for the Chicago White Sox. And every history-making moment on MLB Whip Around, weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Eric Surkamp, a lefty, on when Joyce was announced. Joyce is going to be lifted. Ryan Hannigan will hit for him, and you can see from those numbers Surkamp can have an issue with command and control from time to time.
11 walks in 20 2/3. You better believe it. That's a little over 4.5 per 9. And so you're looking for a mistake, lack of command that you can hit, take that walk. Get something going. You need one.
Hannigan takes the pitch up. Surkamp originally with the San Francisco Giants organization and got to the big leagues a couple years ago with the Giants briefly. And a strike. It's 1-1. Tommy John surgery, which cost him all of the 2012 season. Two and one. Yunel Escobar is on deck. Fly ball right field. Garcia comes in and makes the catch. Not sure what was going on out there. That was a tippity hop to the barbershop move coming in to make that catch.
Yeah, it didn't look very sure of the route, and you know that was something that we were tipped off to take a look at it. Some of the routes. Well, you know, you go back to that hit that fell in.
Yeah.
Where you had the play at the plate. That was a pop up that comes out of the glove of Semien, but really that should have been Garcia's ball the whole way. Never took charge, forced a difficult play on his second baseman, almost cost the White Sox a run.
So 1 out at the bottom of the ninth. Another pitching change coming here. And with that, we'll take a break. On for Chicago with Yunel Escobar, the hitter for the Rays. Escobar 1 out of 3 tonight. 49th appearance for Putnam. Pitch is too high to Escobar. Strike on the edge. 1-1. Bouncer foul puts Escobar behind in the count. It's 1-2. Rays scored 2 unearned runs in the first. They got another run in the fourth. And in the fifth, the White Sox put up 4. It's 4-3 in the bottom of the ninth inning. Line drive, base hit. Gillespie playing toward the line there at third, opening a wider hole on the left side, and Escobar has a base hit.
Yeah, I mean, he was playing right on the line. Escobar with a lot of room to work with, and a split that stayed up. And actually, the location of that pitch made it easy for Escobar to turn and burn. No chance.
So there's James Loney. Only 1 for 3 tonight. 290 on the year for Loney. Well, let's see if he can find something to drive. Strike on the inside part of the plate on the corner there. Jesus already on deck. Molina due. And Loney's quickly in the hole. A changeup, so one pitch going one way, the first pitch, and that one going the other way on the change.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one he's looking forward to Escobar. The 2 nasty pitches, a cutter in, change away. Loney not afraid to hit with 2.
For the first, back in Escobar. Into the dirt, bouncing away from Flegley, and down to second goes Escobar. Now the Rays have the potential tying run in scoring position.
Now a ball in the dirt here. Another little split up and off of Flegley, and that gives the Rays an opportunity here. Runner in scoring position now with just 1 out. Now, these are the situations that the Rays have been able to put themselves in an awful lot this year. Runners in scoring position, you get your chance. Now, can you cash it in?
To the count. And Loney is going to be out on strikes. Down to first to Wilkins. So 2-3 on the strikeout. 2 gone, and it's going to be up to David DeJesus, who will pinch hit for Molina.
Number 7, David DeJesus.
So the potential tying run in scoring position. The Rays 1 of 4 tonight with men in scoring position. White Sox 4 of 13. Don Cooper, the pitching coach, is going to walk to the mound before they work to DeJesus. So the White Sox talk it over. Our next telecast will be Sunday. It'll be Danks and Carnes. Our coverage begins at 1 o'clock on Sun Sports.
All I want to know is if the card says base hit here.
Well, we'll find out. Here's the matchup. DeJesus and Putnam. And that one hits him on the foot. So he's hit by the pitch. And that'll put DeJesus at first with Escobar at second and get Kiermaier up there. Well,
Number 39, Kevin Kiermaier.
this could not have been what Don Cooper had in mind.
Not at all. I mean, he's thinking to himself, that was my visit. That's what came of it.
And now Escobar is going to be lifted for a pinch runner. Nick Franklin will run for Escobar.
A little extra dose of speed out there.
And the Rays have Kiermaier, who's 2 for 3 tonight. He's had some good at-bats.
He really has. Used the middle of the field, hit the ball the other way. Now, of course, that was off the lefty Quintana. But you know what? Same approach here.
Now the pitch to Kiermaier is outside. Kiermaier 1 for 3 or 2 for 3. The one time they got him out was on that line drive back to the mound, hard hit. It resulted in a double play. One and one.
And that's fine.
To it.
Yeah, I mean, turn it loose early. You got the count in your favor. Good changeup here by Putnam. Now, as this at bat moves along, you get to the 2 strike. Now you start to think about that up the middle, the other way approach. But right now, you just want to hit the ball hard. Take your chances.
Cut and a miss. Depth again.
Yeah, and here's where Kiermaier is saying to himself, you got to take a deep breath and go back in there with a good 2-strike approach, because Putnam, he can climb the ladder with the fastball here, try to get it by him. He could go right back to another split. Not been able to reach the last 2. You got to be ready to cover everything here.
1-2, and he fouls it. Stays alive. Again, he came back with a changeup down.
Yep. Now, if Putnam has elevated fastball in his arsenal, this is when you bring it out.
Strikes him out. Ball in the dirt. Throw down to first. The strikeout is complete. This game is over, and it's a 4-3 final. Rays drop game 1 of this series to the White Sox.